Matthew never believed a single email could destroy his home, but that night, as he stared at his phone screen, his world collapsed quietly. The words were simple: probability of paternity. 0%. He blinked. Read it again. 0%. His heart began to pound loudly in his chest. For 5 years, Paul had called him Daddy. For 5 years, he had carried him, fed him, and protected him, and now, the test said Paul was not his son. It had started as a joke. At a family gathering, someone laughed and said, "Paul doesn't look like you at all." Everyone laughed, but Matthew didn't. That night, he looked at Paul differently. He studied his face, the shape of his nose, the tone of his skin, the texture of his hair. Doubt entered his heart quietly, and once doubt enters, it rarely leaves without damage. Instead of speaking to his wife, instead of asking questions, Matthew chose silence, then suspicion, then a secret DNA test. One Saturday afternoon, he told Precious, "I'm taking Paul out for snacks." She smiled warmly. "Don't spoil him too much." She trusted him. She had no idea. 7 days later, the result came: 0%, and something inside Matthew hardened. That night, he threw the printed result on the table. "Explain this." Precious looked confused. "What is that?" "Paul is not my son." The spoon slipped from her hand. "What are you saying?" "You cheated on me." Her eyes widened in shock. "Matthew, I have never touched another man." But anger is loud, and pride is louder. "Pack your things," he said coldly. "You are leaving tomorrow." She cried, she begged, she swore her innocence, but his heart had already closed. The next morning, Precious left her home, without her child, without dignity, without understanding why. In her small, rented room, she cried for hours. Not because she was guilty, but because she knew she was innocent. She replayed the day Paul was born, the hospital lights, the pain, the exhaustion. Then something returned to her memory. That night had been chaotic. Another woman had been screaming in labor, nurses rushing in and out. She remembered her baby being taken away briefly. When they brought him back, she was too weak to question anything. Her heart began to race. What if? What if something had gone wrong? The next morning, Precious went back to the hospital. The building looked the same, but everything felt different. At first, the management refused to help her. It was 5 years ago. "We can't release information." But this time, she was not weak. "I will take this to court," she said firmly. An older nurse finally spoke. That night, there was confusion. The nurse admitted quietly. One baby had breathing complications. The identification tags were removed briefly. Precious felt her knees weaken. Were they checked again carefully? The nurse was silent, and in that silence, the truth began to form. Through old delivery records, Precious found another couple. They had also delivered a baby boy that same night, and they had once complained that their son did not resemble them. A new DNA test was arranged. The results came. Paul was their biological son, and their son was Precious and Matthew's biological child. The babies had been switched. For 5 years, 2 families had been raising the wrong children. When Matthew received the call from a lawyer, he thought it was about divorce. Instead, he heard words that made his body go cold. The hospital switched the babies at birth. His breathing stopped. Precious had been telling the truth. She had never cheated. He had destroyed his marriage, for nothing. He drove to her apartment immediately. When she opened the door, she looked different, not broken, stronger. "You were right," he whispered. She did not speak. The babies were switched. Tears filled his eyes. "I accused you. I humiliated you. I didn't listen." Precious looked at him calmly. "You didn't just doubt me, Matthew," she said softly. "You judged me." Those words hurt more than the DNA result ever could. Both families met. Two little boys sat quietly, unaware of the storm around them. Both innocents, both loved. The decision was painful. Should they exchange the children immediately, or protect their hearts? After long discussions, they agreed on something difficult but wise. The boys would know the truth gradually. Both families would remain connected, because love cannot be switched like hospital tags. One night, Matthew stood beside Paul's bed. He watched him sleeping peacefully. He kissed his forehead gently. "Blood matters," he whispered, "but love matters more." Across town, their biological son slept peacefully too. One hospital mistake. Two families changed forever, and one man learned a painful lesson. Never let suspicion speak louder than trust, because sometimes the truth is not what destroys a home. It is the way we react before knowing it. Trust is fragile. Communication saves what suspicion destroys. Anger makes decisions that regret must live with, and love is deeper than blood.